Thank you. You were joining a call with more than 4 people. Please mute your phone. The call is being recorded.
John, if you would turn the speaker off on your computer.
All right, I just did.
And the volume down as well.
Okay, so your microphone is on. Okay. Okay.
Hi, Chief.
Evening.
How are you?
Good. How are
I'm
you?
very frustrated with the technology.
I'm sorry, John.
Not sure why I can't just type in link in my email and the link come up, but that's for another day. All right.
Yeah, John, if you want to, you and I can work that out offline sometime so that we can improve this for future.
I understand that. All right. Again, my apologies to everyone. I'm going to start off with a right to know meeting checklist. As chair of the Rollinsford Planning Board, due to the COVID-19 coronavirus crisis, in accordance with Governor Sununu's Emergency Order 12, pursuant to Executive Order 2020-04, this board is authorized to meet electronically. Please note that there is no physical location to observe and listen contemporaneously to the meeting, which is authorized pursuant to the Governor's Emergency Order. However, in accordance with that emergency order, this is to confirm that we are providing public access to the meeting by telephone, with additional access possibilities by video or other electronic means. We are utilizing the Google Meet platform for this electronic meeting. All members of the board have the ability to communicate contemporaneously during this meeting through the Google Meet platform, and the public has access to contemporaneously listen and, if necessary, participate in this meeting through dialing a number. B, providing public notice of the necessary information for accessing the meeting. We previously gave notice to the public of how to access the meeting using Google Meet, and instructions provided on the town website at rollinsford.nh.us. B, providing a mechanism for the public to alert the public body during the meeting if there are problems with access. Anybody has a problem, please call 534-1049 or email at admin@rollinsford.nh.us. D, adjourn the meeting if the public is unable to access the meeting. In the event the public is unable to access the meeting, we will adjourn the meeting and have it rescheduled at that time. Please note that all votes are taken during this meeting shall be done by roll call vote. Let's start the meeting by taking a roll call attendance when each member states their presence. Also, please state whether there is anyone in the room with you during this meeting, which is required under the law. Sarah, why don't you please take the roll call vote?
Okay. John Hinsman, Planning Board Chair.
Present and alone.
Kevin Haynes, Planning Board Vice Chair.
Present and alone.
Caroline Kendall, Select Board ex officio.
Present and alone.
Harry Knowles, alternate.
Present, and my wife Denise is here.
Sue Nastasi.
I'm here. My husband may go in and out.
Tom Clark, Rollinsford Code Enforcement Officer / Building Inspector.
Present and alone.
And I am Sarah Doucette McLaughlin, and I'm the Planning Board Recording Secretary. Mr. Chairman, you should probably appoint Mr. Knowles a full voting member because Richard Fogarty is not going to be in attendance this evening.
All right, Ms. Knowles, I'm appointing you as a full voting member for tonight's meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Sarah, would you read the application before the board?
Yes. So we are looking at an application for a minor subdivision in which Paul E. Donato Sr., 1994 Trust, 80 Goodwin Road, proposes to subdivide tax map 1, lot 35, located on Goodwin Road, into 2 lots. The proposed new lots will be 1.006 acres and 2.77 acres respectively.
All right, Mr. Connolly, if you'd like to make your presentation.
Thank you, Chairman Hinsman, and good evening, board members. I'll try to keep my comments brief, and please advise if I'm speaking too fast. I'll start right off just with a little history. This parcel is part of a much larger parcel prior to 1977 and all the way back into the 40s. As of 1964, and then thereafter in 77, this subject 5.34 acre parcel was actually 2 parcels. One in the very northwestern corner was a 100-foot by 150-foot lot on which stood the little ranch that still stands there today, and was previously occupied by the Boucher family, both the parents of Arlene Boucher and later on Arlene herself. I think in 2009, our client Paul Janaitis purchased the property from Arlene and continues to own it to the state. But along with the 100-foot by 150-foot deep parcel also came additional land, which was basically made part of it by deed in 1977, and that was a little bit over a 5-acre lot, created by subdivision in 77, approved by the planning board, therefore creating the 5.34 acre parcel. Today, we stand before you with just a very, I think, simple minor subdivision request. We have requested 3 waivers from the town of Rollinsford Planning Board regulations. And at present, we have a New Hampshire DES subdivision application pending before the Subsurface System Bureau. As a part of that, and this is going to run to one of the comments supplied to me this evening by a report of Michelle Mears from Tom. And one of our comments was with regard to the municipal water supply proposed to be supplied to the larger of the 2 subdivision lots, the 4+ acre lot. We found out recently from the city of Somersworth that they will not, at least in writing, subscribe to and say that they have capacity or will supply water service to that lot. And they said they wouldn't do that moving forth until an intermunicipal service agreement to be adopted between the town of Rollinsford and city of Somersworth would be executed, and then thereafter they would in writing say that they could extend the service to the proposed lot. So simply stated, we don't have the time to wait for that to happen, and I don't know that we want to burden the select board of Rollinsford with the task of creating an intermunicipal agreement. Fact of the matter is, we can simply and very easily provide a well on the proposed larger of the 2 lots. The proposed smaller lot, 1.11 acres, already has municipal water service supplied to the house from the city of Somersworth. And all this runs back to a water main that was put in Goodwin Road by the Janaitis family, basically Janko, back a number of years ago. I was going to say at least 20, might be closer to 40, for the purposes of providing fire water suppression and firefighting supply to the Janko facility just across the street and down the road. a little bit from the subject premises. So simply stated, the ranch already has municipal water. We don't need to get an agreement to continue that. And instead of providing municipal water to the 4+ acre site, we're going to put a well on that lot. Easy enough to do. There's plenty of land, and that's represented on the plan that we have just submitted to DES, in that we will resubmit to you. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. I'm going to try anyway. Can you see that at all? Anyway, down by the down near the pond, but outside of the 50-foot buffer, we have proposed a well location and the 75-foot protected radius around that. We've also backed that area out of the minimum lot size calculations contained in notes number 11 on the plan. And certainly, again, with 4+ acres, we have plenty of land left over. After backing out that area to have an adequate, more than adequate lot size for lot 35, S1. I think without going any further, I will just say that, or by going further, I guess, I will also say that I've read the report from Michelle Mears. There are no, what I would consider to be deal breakers in that. We can apply for and supply an NHDOT drive permit. Our next question is, where's the proposed location of the driveway for map 1, lot 35, S1? That would be right up through the proposed access and utility easement we show on the common lot line on the plan. Moving on down to her point number 8, I just pretty much went over that, and that's with regard to the water supply for the proposed lot. Point number 11 is with regard to NHDES subdivision approval. It has been applied for. And I guess the only final comment I would make is with regard to her point number 13 relative to certificate of monumentation. And I would suggest, rather than us supplying you with a piece of paper that says, we're going to put these monuments in, why don't we just go ahead and put them in? We'll notify you. And if someone wants to come out and take a look, they're there. And I guess that would conclude my comments. Certainly any questions, I'm glad to answer.
Okay. Mr. Clark, would you comment upon Mr. Connolly's suggestion in regard to number 13, certificate of monumentation? I think you're on mute.
Well, if you just added that as a note on the new plan that you're going to submit.
Yes.
Just about the monumentation will be set, as opposed to a certificate or anything, just have it as a note on the plan.
That says monuments have been set?
Or will be set. You're sending a new plan, right? With the well? Yeah.
Yep.
So if you could just add a note stating that the monumentation will be set.
Okay, fair enough.
As opposed to a separate, I agree about a separate agreement or certificate.
Yep. I don't know that an actual certificate exists in your regulations.
No.
Okay, I'll add a note to the plan.
All right, thank you. And if I understand you correctly, Mr. Connolly, are you saying you, with the exception of your essentially oral amendments to the issue of the will versus the water sewer connection, that you are agreeing to all the other recommendation on Michelle Mears' report?
Yes, John, they're pretty easily addressed. Some of them don't even require a plan amendment of any kind. It just would be it's certainly where a plan amendment is appropriate, such as we can add a note that states the number of the permit and the date of issue for the driveway, say. But other items don't even need really a response or a response on the plan. I'll make a written response to each and every comment for sure before the next meeting.
So so in regard to comments 4 and 12, which both deal with the underground utilities, are you seeking a waiver, or are you agreeing that the utilities will be underground?
Oh, we agree. The utilities will indeed be underground.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. All right, Mr. Haynes, do you have any question for the applicant in regard to the proposal?
I have no questions or concerns, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Sue, do you have any questions or concerns for the applicant?
No, I do not.
Okay. Caroline, do you have any questions or concerns for the applicant?
I do, Mr. Chairman. I would like for Mr. Clark to comment on the proposed driveway location with regard to setback requirements. Seems to me problematic, the suggested location, because I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, that driveways are subject to setback requirements. So I'm not sure how that may play into this situation if that's true.
Oh, yes, you're right. But he has a 30-foot easement, and the driveway certainly isn't going to be 30 feet wide. So the width of the driveway can be moved to the north and give him the same, I think, what is it, a 20-foot setback there that he could still maintain.
So as long as the driveway is on the remaining 10 feet, is that?
Yes, as long as there's a 20-foot fall, as long as there's a 20-foot setback between the edge of the driveway and that property line, which would be the proposed southern line of the existing lot. You have a 30-foot easement. If you make it a 40-foot easement, you can have like a 12 or 14-foot driveway.
I think I understand what you're saying, Tom, but at some point we have to cross over that property line.
Good point. So I think that would be you'd have to request a waiver for that from the planning board, because yeah, you couldn't meet the setback at that point.
Okay.
Does that have to go to the zoning board?
It's in the planning regulations. That setback is in the planning regulations.
But didn't a Scarlet Lane lot have to go through ZBA for that, or am I remembering that incorrectly?
Yeah, it didn't have to go to ZBA. No.
Okay. All right. So I would just, request, in addition to seeing, the approximate location of a home, where the driveway might go into, with respect to the setbacks and the easement on the plan.
We will request that waiver if it's administratively the correct thing to do, and submit that with the revised plans. And we can actually show the driveway location on the plan. Plan will start to get, the plan's already pretty busy, so yeah. we might just submit an exhibit that won't be the recorded plan, but will set forth answers to your questions.
Which would include the utilities, right?
Yes.
Yeah, guys, I agree. If we start putting this stuff all on one plan, it's going to be very confusing.
I was unaware that there was a driveway setback.
Yeah,
Was
I was also, until we ran across it in the subdivision regs, because it's not in the zoning ordinance. Well, I'll get it to you. I'll look it up and get it to you.
well, thanks,
The
Tom.
article.
I
The article
apologize
is-
for that. And I'll couch that by saying it's, I don't do a lot of work with the board these days.
Okay, any further comments, Caroline? Or questions?
No, I think I'm good for now. I think I'm good for now. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Knowles, any questions or comments for the applicant?
No, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you. So I think at this point, we would have a vote as to whether or not to accept the application as complete. I'm sorry, Mr. Clark.
No, that's quite all right. I guess I can ask questions after you. I don't think it's going to have any bearing on.
Oh, sure, no, go ahead, please. I should recognize you. Please ask away.
Okay, I just, Paul, you mentioned some of the notes, but number 3 about house location, that's going to be included?
Yeah, that would be on the exhibit, Tom.
Yep.
It's just something we don't like to commit to public record and recording.
Understood.
Okay.
Wait a second. And number 6 about the parking, you can address that easily enough.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost what we call by inspection, but
Yeah. And number 7 about getting something from the fire department.
yeah, I can do that. Can also show that where the hydrant is on the street if you want.
That would probably cover that base, yes.
Okay, we can do that. So I think it's pretty sure it's on the other side of Goodwin Road because if my memory serves me correctly, the other side of Goodwin Road is where the water line was run down to Janko.
Sure. And regarding number 11, I did receive an email from the state that they've received your application for the subdivision, NHDES subdivision.
Yes.
So just for the board, it is filed. And one last thing, Paul, the abutter to the south of the big lot.
Yeah, I think that's Cherise and Leldon. Yes. The Bakers?
Nope. To the south would be Ms. Pelletier, Lisa Pelletier.
That's to the north. Yep.
It is?
Yep.
It is?
Yeah.
Summersworth is north of Rollinsford.
Well, yeah. But if we're looking at that plan, it shows that lot to the right of the subdivision, which would be south.
To the right, I believe, is the Bakers.
To the
The Bakers makes an L all the
Okay.
way around this lot.
right. But okay, the Bakers would be to the east.
No. Well, yes, to the east and to the south. Their lot wraps around Paul's lot.
All right. Well, let me get to the point.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, it's quite all right. On the plan, you have one of the mapping lots as 1/634.
That's a typo.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be 134,
Yes. Yep.
which is Lisa Pelletier.
That is correct. Yes. And I will tell you, and this is the voodoo of computers. we had actually corrected that on our plan before submitting it,
Oh,
and the error somehow stuck onto the plan. So we'll fix it again.
okay. And I think that's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay,
I will
thank you.
the application complete, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, is there a second on finding a motion to accept the application as complete?
Mr. Haynes will second, Mr. Chairman.
All right, I've got to do it by roll call, so we'll start with you, Mr. Haynes. Are you yay or nay on the issue of the motion to find the application complete?
Yay, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Sue, are you yay or nay in regard to the motion to find the application as complete?
Yes, yay.
Caroline, are you yay or nay in regard to the motion to find the application as complete?
Yay, Mr. Chairman.
All right, and I'm also in favor of finding the application. Got Mr. Knowles. Mr. Knowles, are you in favor of finding the application as complete?
Yay.
All right, and I am also in favor of finding the application as complete, so it is unanimous. Thank you. At this point, I'll open up to the public for the public hearing. I don't know, I can't tell from my screen whether or not we have members of the public on the meeting.
There are no members of the public with us tonight.
All right, so we'll close the public hearing at this point. Are there any further comments or questions from the board?
I would move that we continue the application. I think we probably have to do that.
Okay, I think I heard you broke up a little bit. Caroline, I think you said you would make a motion to continue the application to a
To the
specific
October.
date. The meeting in October?
Yes, that would be my motion. I believe we need to do that.
All right. And is there a second for that motion?
Mr. Haynes will second, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Haynes. All right, I'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Haynes, are you yay or nay on the motion to continue the application to the our next meeting or the meeting in October?
Yay, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Sue, are you yay or nay on the issue of continuing the application to the meeting in October?
Yay.
Thank you. Caroline, are you yay or nay in regard to the motion to continue the application to the meeting in October?
Yay.
Mr. Knowles, are you yay or nay in regard to the motion to continue the application to the next meeting in October?
Yay.
Thank you. And I am also a yay, so it carries unanimously. So thank you very much, Mr. Connolly, for attending and making a presentation tonight.
You're welcome, Mr. Chairman. If I could just ask an administrative question or two. The next planning board meeting, I think, would be October 6th, first Tuesday in October. Correct? When would the resubmission of documents deadline date be for that?
Any opinion on that, Tom or Caroline? Got to take yourself off mute, Tom.
Sarah deals with the deadlines. I'm not, is there
Oh,
one for
sorry.
this, a resubmission, Sarah?
We don't have like set deadlines, but because I don't have to renotice it, I mean, if you could get it to us 10 days before, is that doable for you?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. And I will need full-size copies again, so
Okay.
to distribute to the board.
I could do a similar distribution as we did with the original submission. Would that be okay?
Yeah, that's fine. And I can, again, I'm right around the corner from your office, so I can pick those up for you. Just let me know when they're ready.
Thank you very much. That's incredibly generous of you and convenient for us in these special times. Just one more question, not that I wanted to, but if the meeting consideration of this had to go into November, the first Tuesday in November is Election Day. And I don't know if you would hold a meeting either in person or via a video on that date, or would you go to the following Tuesday, which is November 10th?
Anyone want to chime in on that?
I'll take that one and say I would find it unlikely that we would meet on actual election day for administrative reasons, as far as the office is concerned, at the very least. However, this group typically decides amongst themselves what alternative meeting date works, because there are members here who have other Tuesday evening obligations. So it may possibly be moved to the following Tuesday, the 10th, but it could possibly get bumped to the 17th. So if the people present, had the will and Mr. Chairman wanted to, entertain that conversation now, we could, but typically that's a conversation that's held the meeting prior to the conflict meeting.
I don't want to get ahead of myself, so we can wait.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, again, thank you, Mr. Polly, for your presentation tonight.
Thank you all so much. Appreciate it.
All right. So with that, I think we'll move on to the next item of the agenda, which let's talk about last meeting's minutes. Does anyone have any comments or concerns about last month's meeting minutes?
I will move to accept them as presented.
I'll
Is
second
there a-
that. Oh,
All
sorry.
right, thank you. I'll do a roll call vote on that. Mr. Haynes, are you yay or nay on the motion to accept the minutes from last month?
Yay, Mr. Chairman.
Sue, are you yay or nay on the motion to accept the minutes from last month?
Yay to accept the minutes.
And Caroline, are you yay or nay on the motion to accept the minutes from last month?
Yay.
And Mr. Knowles, are you yay or nay on the motion to accept the minutes from last month?
Yay.
Thank you. And I am also in favor of the motion to accept the minutes, so that will carry unanimously. Thank you. In terms of correspondence, Sarah, could you tell us about any correspondence that the board has received?
I'm going to throw that over to Caroline, who would handle that.
I'm sorry, Caroline?
But all right, the only correspondence sent forward to the board this month was from the Barrington Planning Board, notice of a public hearing for construction of a cell tower.
Okay. And I looked at that very briefly. Is there a deadline for us to respond to that, or do you have a suggestion about responding to that?
Typically, when we get those notices, responding is really, I send them to you all when they come in, so that as individuals, if you wish to attend, you're welcome to. I would just caution you not to respond on behalf of the town or behalf of the planning board, since the planning board wouldn't have had a chance to meet to say, this is how we feel, and this is how, we would want to represent our view on that. So other than that, I don't recall offhand when that meeting was taking place, but I can certainly look it up. And so as I said, it's up for any of you to attend should you wish to.
Okay. All right. So next, I had proposed a discussion on impact fees, but I need to admit that my child schedule has been horrendous this month, and I'm not prepared to talk about that. I don't know if anyone else Tom, if you wanted to talk about that, otherwise we can move on to the ordinance changes.
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to make sure that everyone received the information that I sent via email. I contacted Bruce Mayberry, and he sent a copy of the stuff that he did back in 2011. So I forward that on to you all, along with the information that's out of the town's own zoning ordinance about impact fees.
All right. Thank you. All right. Unless someone wants to comment on that, do we want to move on to the upcoming ordinance changes?
I have a quick question. So if you don't want to talk about it, do you want me to table it until October?
Yes, that would be great. Thank you. All right. Caroline sent us a very helpful reminder about the zoning ordinance change calendar. Caroline, do you want to discuss that?
Sure. I did send along that calendar put out by the state to remind us of these deadlines. I think it's important to put out a notice to the public, reminding the public of this deadline in case they, for those who might wish to present a petition warrant article to the planning board, because that would require the planning board to have a public hearing on, even though it would not be your proposal. There was a petition zoning ordinance amendment last year that did not meet the deadline. So, you know, for respect to those residents who may be interested, I think it's prudent to do that. Separate and apart from that, I think it would be a good idea in that message, if the planning board is willing to do this, to invite the public who may be interested in either a petition zoning ordinance amendment or just, you know, talking with the planning board, just whether it's a separate meeting or maybe the October meeting, because that's the time frame we're in right now. Do we want to invite people to come to talk to the planning board about their ideas, and we can discuss how workable they are or not, or why the town may or may not support them, or how we might work on the language of the article to make it better, some things like that, the implications of their proposals, in case there's anybody, in case anybody's interested in doing that.
All right, and if we were to make such an invitation to the public, how would we do that?
Well, I could get the intent of, if you all want to discuss that and decide that that's how you'd want to go, then I can put, I can create that message, unless somebody else would like to do that, and put it out on the email list that goes out to those residents who signed up for that email list, which would also put it on the website.
I could also
Is there any?
I could post it in the library as well, and then we could post it in the post office.
Okay. So is there any feeling by the members of the board if we want to do that? Anyone want to chime in one way or the other?
I think it's a good idea to give it a try.
Okay. Anybody else? Tom, did you want to say something?
Yes, not being a member of the board, I think it's a great idea. We could treat it as a workshop and eliminate any kind of complications or surprises that might come up at town meeting. I think it's an excellent idea.
So in other words, we would suggest that this workshop not occur on a regular planning board meeting, but on a separate date?
I think as a special meeting, yes, sir.
All right, that sounds good to me. All right, do we need to take a vote on this, Caroline, or can we just sort of?
I think the consensus of the group is sufficient, but we should work out a date that's workable.
Okay. And so you're looking for that date now, right?
Yes.
Okay. So do you have any I don't have my calendar in front of me, but I'm open to just about any suggestion.
So this group typically meets on Tuesdays, and I know that other people have Tuesday conflicts on other Tuesdays. So I'm wondering for you all whether the 22nd and the 29th of September are both open as far as the public calendar is concerned at this point. Does anybody have a conflict with either of those or preference?
I don't think so.
I think I'm personally fine either way. Anybody?
Could you say those dates again, please?
The 22nd and the 29th.
I would have a conflict for the 29th. Oh, wait. Okay. No, I'm sorry, the 22nd. I'd be okay for the 29th.
Okay.
September.
All right. So why don't we suggest it be on the 29th then, October 29th? September
Okay.
29th. October 29th.
September 29th or October?
No, that's my bad. I think it's October.
No, I'm sorry, September 29th.
All right. September 29th. I wrote it down wrong.
Okay, and is 7 o'clock the preferred time?
That'd be great.
Yes.
Fantastic, thank you for that. Separately, if all of you, I know that Tom and I discovered a discrepancy. Actually, Tom, I'm sorry, I would never take credit for your discovery of that is existing in the zoning ordinance that we need to rectify. I don't know if anybody else has any other ideas of things that should be fixed, but multiple dwellings is not allowed in the table of uses, but is allowed, Tom, in some other section. You want to speak to that?
Sure. We have which will probably come before the planning board eventually, but Mr. Casanelli at Cass's Towing, I'm sorry, scratch that. Wrong one. Mr. Norton on Clement Road. We have some issues and he is proposing, or his engineer is proposing, to eliminate a bunch of lot lines and allow for multiple dwellings on one lot. It's not allowed in the table of use regulations, but there is a note under special provisions that says you can do it. So after a little research, we found, thanks to Sarah, we found that there was a meeting back in, well, credit what credit's due, right?
Sorry, Sarah.
There was a meeting in 07 and 08 that deleted that multiple dwellings in an S1 zone, but did not get rid of that note in the special provision. So we just have to follow. We just have to follow up to delete that note as it applies to S1, SR. Wait a minute, SR and UR, I think, but we have to delete that note in the special provisions to make it consistent with the table of use regulation.
All right. And Tom, would it be inappropriate or to suggest that, or to ask that you come up with draft language on that, or would that be inappropriate?
Oh, no, I'd be happy to do that.
Thank you. I appreciate
Certainly, certainly.
that. All right. When I came downstairs to log on, did not bring my calendar, but I seem to have a memory. Is our site walk tomorrow or is it Thursday? If you're talking, Jill, you're muted.
Right. It's Wednesday next week, the 9th at 6 p.m.
Wednesday next week. Okay, I know I saw it, and I just wanted to confirm that before we ended tonight's meeting, so I apologize for getting my weeks confused. All right. So is there any other business we have to address tonight? Someone would like us to address? Does it appear that way? Would someone like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Also move.
I'll second
What's that?
that.
All right. So I'll go through the list. Mr. Haynes, are you yay or nay on the motion to adjourn the meeting?
Yay, Chairman Hinsman.
Sue, are you yay or nay on the motion to adjourn the meeting?
Yay.
Caroline, are you yay or nay on the motion to adjourn the meeting?
Yay.
Mr. Knowles, are you yay or nay on the motion to adjourn the meeting?
Yay.
I'm also in favor of the motion to adjourn the meeting, so I will redouble my efforts on resolving my login problems. And again, thank you all for your participation tonight. Have a great night.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care,
Good night.
everyone.
Good night. Tom, I have a quick question for you.
Sure.
So can they use the fact that there's that discrepancy in the ordinances? Can they use that as a loophole, or is it clear that it was the intention is one thing and not the other?
I think the intention and the vote is pretty clear that not making that correction in the special provision note is irrelevant.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we'd be pretty comfortable doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, Chris Berry might challenge it, of course, but
Yeah.
it's pretty clear based on that stuff that you found.
Yeah. It's so funny because I was there when he originally came in to discuss it
Oh, no kidding.
ago, and I was just like, this is a mess.
Yes, it is a mess.
So, all right. Well, just curious. So thanks for
Sure.
the info.
You're very welcome.
Have a good night.
Thank you, Sarah. You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.